Okay, we're at the MGF in London, and we've just bumped into Fredrik Wester, the CEO of Paradox, and we just have to... I'm going to open up with a question that I ask every time I speak to one of your designers about one of your grand strategy games, and it fits this location very well. What are your plans on bringing games like Crusader Kings 2 and Europa Universalis 4? What are your plans on bringing those to mobile?
And that is really a good question, and that's a question that I ask my development team almost all the time as well. And the truth is that we do have some ideas and plans for it. It's just that we're doing really well on PCs, so we haven't really figured out everything yet, but hopefully sooner or later, because our games fit really well with the format of like the input device of touch screens. So I think that hopefully within the coming year or 1.5 years, we're going to see at least an embryo of what a grand strategy game could look like on a mobile device. But I'm not really sure yet, but that's what I hope, because I'm a grand strategy gamer myself and I want to play on my tablet when I travel.
So are you kind of thinking about bringing your existing titles to mobile, or are you looking at the problem like as building a mobile game from scratch?
We're actually looking at both these things. We're looking at bringing all the IPs that people know well, like Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, and also a game like Stellaris would fit really well, even if it's not out on PC yet. The touchscreen would fit perfectly with the space setting in Stellaris. But we're also looking for new concepts that fit the mobile space really well. We're learning now with games like Knights of Pen and Paper and other smaller mobile titles that were released. So we're getting we're soon ready to swim in the deep end of the pool.
So what drew you to the venue? How much of Paradox's output is kind of being funneled into mobile now? Because I know you're a PC-based studio.
Yeah, the amount of revenue coming from mobile at the moment is just a few percent, so it's not a big revenue stream for us, but we're looking to do more things on mobile, not only full games, but maybe extra products for current games like companion apps and things that add value to what people are playing on their PCs or other devices. And on this particular venue, I'm part of a panel. I was a part of a panel called How to Make Friends and Influence People, which I'm not sure I'm an expert on that, but it was more about community building in mobile games, because we are all about building community. We've been doing that since forever on the PC, and it's pretty new to the mobile crowd, like how do you actually build a community and not just buying new users all the time. So it's been interesting.
Okay, so talking about your PC community, you've got a lot going on at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the main projects that you're working on?
The two key projects that are coming out this year are Stellaris and Hearts of Iron 4. We have a few other projects that we haven't announced yet, and we're also looking at some key partnership with some really big developers as well. The other thing that we're looking at right now is since the acquisition of White Wolf Publishing, including Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf and all the other 18 IPs of World of Darkness, we're looking at new partners for these as well. But it's going to take some time. Making games takes a lot of time, but at least we're starting to establish the first partnerships in the World of Darkness, in the new World of Darkness universe that we're creating together with the partners and with the fans.
I mean, you've been growing steadily now for a very long time, and you're becoming, a significant player in the PC scene. I mean, obviously that was always part of the plan, but what has that transition been like, coming from kind of fairly kind of small origins to kind of having such an important place to play in the way that we're kind of transitioning towards digital gaming? I mean, you've been at the forefront of that.
Yeah, it's. I described it. My brother asked, "How does it feel to have so many employees?" And being like, and I said, "You know what? It's basically the same thing, because you typically don't work with games just for the money. I mean, I'm a business student from the beginning. If I wanted only to make money, I would be in finance or another like part of the. On the other hand, once you're up there and you make money and it's going really well, it's a lot of fun as well, because you can do bigger projects, you can do more fun stuff." And he asked, "What's the difference in the feeling now and the feeling then?" And I said, well, once you grow up to a certain level, it's like a magic door opens and everyone just wants to talk to you and ask your opinion. And I always have opinions. It's just that it's only in the last 2-3 years people actually listen to what I say. And I'm not sure I'm a smarter guy today than I was 5 years ago, but it's always fun to have people listening.
But you've obviously got an eye. You've obviously got an eye for talent, and you've been able to really pick your projects quite carefully. When you are picking projects, what is it that you are looking for? Because there's no one thing. You've got such a diverse kind of spectrum of different games kind of in the works, but there must be something like a common theme that runs through them all, whether it's on a conceptual level, or is it the people that make the games? What is it that kind of draws you to a project?
I would say that I picked some pretty bad projects in the past as well, so I wouldn't say they are all jewels, but two things. If you take the studio that we work with or the people we want to work with, is that they should both be super passionate and competent at what they do. And typically we measure those two things, like passion is always more important than actually having delivered before, because if you have the passion you might be able to deliver, but if you have delivered before but you don't have the passion, there's nothing you can do to make the game great anyways. When it comes to making the games, I would say the replayability is the largest, biggest, most important factor that we're looking at. Like, what's the reason to pick up the game and play it again? Together with the hardcore feeling of the game. So it should take like 5 or 6 hours to learn the games before you master them, because we want to be sort of an exclusive club, more of an Illuminati among the gaming community.
You say 5 or 6 hours. I've played some of your games that have taken me 50 or 60 hours to master.
Yeah, I'm up to at least 100 hours in Crusader Kings 2, and I'm still learning new things. So maybe I have to change that statement later on, but I think it's great when you kind of figure out new things all the way. It feels like you're opening like a new page in a book. So, and that feeling is what we're looking for.
From an outside perspective, having a look at the way that you're working as a studio, one of the things that I have noticed more and more recently is you're making decisions to shut down projects that maybe aren't at the level that you would perhaps... You're getting much better at quality control, I would say. Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that. And like, when you're a small publisher and you don't have the cash flow to back it up, you will have to release projects that sometimes aren't 100% what you can actually stand behind. And that's not the case anymore. Like, since 3 years back, we can actually do only the projects that we want to do, and only the projects we can actually 100% stand behind. And it's a totally different feeling. You can feel it in the team, you can feel it everywhere in the atmosphere of the company as well. Like, so when we really, like, I play Stellaris now and I have a great time every time. So I asked the team, like, so why are we not releasing this game? And they're like, yeah, there are still some things we want to polish here and there. And I'm like, okay, good. It feels that we have the passion and we have the people who are the right people to bring the game to market. And that's a great feeling.
You kind of alluded to what I'm about to ask you, but it's a nice way to end the interview. What's 2016 got in store for Paradox?
2016 has some certain projects like Hearts of Iron 4, where you already know the player base, you know what it's all about. You have some kind of new things for the internal team at Paradox, which is Stellaris. And we have some extra goodies for you as well that we haven't announced yet, that we hope to announce within soon, that are some really great stuff.
We look forward to hearing what those announcements are. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.